Doo-doo-dee. It's Nandi!
Hello friends, this patch brings us the next 6th character for a faction, with the unlikely winners in the Astra Militarum. Lord Marshal Dreir is a unit from the Death Corps of Krieg subfaction. If you're here for a 15-second summary, Dreir is a melee character who charges into battle and brings an army of Death Rider horsemen with him. The horsemen, as expected, do more damage on the charge, and the ability is stronger with more fallen allies. His passive is supposed to give him more of a Krieg feel, where he regenerates health every turn and has critical hit resilience, so isn't easily overkilled. This is a shorter showcase, but let's get going. Dreir is an epic unlock through the Epic Battle Pass, and you also get some shards through his home screen event during this patch. As usual, Snowprint's art team have done a fantastic job with the model and animations. Dreir has 2 traits, Resilient and Unstoppable. I know that Mythic has been released, but I will continue to just highlight Diamond 3 stats for a while. Thanks to Tawin, Tacticus Ambassador and Friend, I have this nice radar chart to give you an idea of how he compares to other characters in the game. Dreir has a movement speed of 4 and a melee power attack with 3 hits. His active ability is Leading the Charge. This gives Dreir the Infiltrate ability and allows him to charge and attack an enemy within 4 hexes. Alongside this attack, Dreir also summons Death Riders to accompany him, provided there is space. The Death Riders have a physical melee attack and an ability called Frag Lance, where they do bonus blast damage on the charge. The animation on this one looks awesome, as you will see shortly. The entire ability gets stronger depending on how many friendly units have already been defeated already, which is a theme that Dreir shares with Yarrick. His passive ability is Tough to Kill and appropriately named. It lets Dreir regenerate health every turn, and by my math, this number is about 30% of Dreir's health at Diamond 3. This works well with his Resilient trait, so he is constantly regenerating from the verge of death. The second part of his passive is an anti-crit mechanic that protects him from being overkilled. The abilities are simple enough, but let's take a look at some gameplay clips before diving into the numbers. In the first clip, you can see Dreir charging Snotflogga and summoning his horsemen friends to fight alongside him. The clip shows that the horsemen surround Dreir rather than the target, and then attack an adjacent enemy if possible. As I rewind, you can see that you can't choose the hex that Dreir moves to with this active, so you aren't always going to get perfect results with his summon positioning and attacks. As the battle continues, you can see them charging around and doing the extra blast damage on their attacks. In the second clip, we pit Dreir against Ulf, and you can see how the Resilient trait keeps him from getting killed, while the passive heals him every turn and eventually allows him to overcome the Space Wolf. The gameplay is reasonably straightforward, and I thought we would move on to some math and graphs next, once more courtesy of Tawin. There are lots of moving parts when you do the calculation, but Tawin has come through here. You can see in black what the character's remaining health is after being attacked by Dreir, as well as 2 of his horse summons. As you'll remember, the active becomes more powerful in the form of increased Pierce when more of our friends have died, and that is reflected here in the additional colours. It's a reasonably powerful active, but definitely not a one-hit KO except against the weakest of enemies. At time of recording, Dreir does not have any relics that are usable. His Mythic Missions here are listed on screen, and they all seem reasonably straightforward. Probably the trickiest one is defeating 2 overwatching enemies with Dreir in one battle, and I would suggest using Sybil alongside Dreir to achieve this. Here is the usual infographic style summary. Stats on the right are at Diamond 3. Thanks again to Tawin for comparing Dreir to other characters. His stats are actually pretty decent, but he suffers from low armor. On screen here, I have also given you a summary of the Death Riders. They have the Summon and Unstoppable traits and have a physical damage melee attack. They also have the Frag Lance passive, which gives them bonus blast damage on the charge. That takes us to usability. Where is Dreir good? In Horde modes, I think he's excellent. Not only does he add reasonable summons to the battlefield, but he is also resilient through his passive self-healing. I think he'll be great, and I'm giving him a 4.5. For War, again, he ticks a lot of boxes. His active does a reasonable amount of burst damage, and then you have a bunch of summons left over to distract enemy attention. You don't even really have to worry too much about him dying straight away due to inbuilt resilience. Again, I've given him a 4.5. It is fairly clear that Dreir isn't a raid character. His kit just isn't designed for it. Accordingly, he has a 1.5. Overall, Dreir is a pretty good character for non-raid modes and certainly fun and flavorful as the first Krieg character. What is disappointing is that at the moment it looks like he is locked behind the Epic Battle Pass paywall, and you probably aren't going to be able to get enough shards for his home screen event unless you plan ahead and save some resources. That said, if I manage to unlock him, I'll probably stop at around Gold 1 level for the time being and use him mainly for war until I can build my other characters up. Given the main focus of the character is on Horde mode and in the absence of too many other talking points, I thought I would take a look at how he might perform in legendary release events. We've already established that his kit makes him really good here, but how does he stack up against the competition? For power damage, these are all of the characters in the game with the power damage trait. I've just gone with my gut here to rank them, and I think that Dreir is firmly in the top category, with characters like Maladus, Rotbone, Angrax, and Forecast. This next slide narrows the tracks down and you can see just Imperial characters here. Given that legendary release tracks are generally filtered by Alliance, you can see that he is among the best Imperial only options. What about his other traits? Resilient is shown here on screen. Characters like Maladus, Rotbone, and Carrion are already stalwarts in the greater good tier, but I think Dreir probably joins them there too. You can make an argument for Corrodius and Lucian to be pushed up a tier, but the point remains. Dreir is excellent and in the top group for characters with this trait. Unstoppable is up next, and I think this is one of the track requirements for the Lucius beta track, if memory serves. There are only 7 characters available for this track, and in my humble opinion, Dreir is easily the best of the bunch. He has 3 hits, which is fairly average and harder to rank comparatively against the field, since the hit requirements for legendary release events are so variable. Anyway, that was just a fun little segment to show you how good I think he is in legendary release events, and in particular for his niche among his tracks. Let me know if that was useful, and I can try and add something like this to my character showcases moving forward. Okay, that's it, another character showcase wrapped up. A huge thanks to my Patreons for their support, and Talon's code is on screen as a thank you. Bye for now.